First and foremost, I want to thank everyone for coming out and checking out our presentation today.
Okay, so we did Gaelic football in Ireland, also known as hurling. My name's Drew.
And I'm Nick.
So a little bit about the overview, what we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about the background of the sport, how's it managed, how it's also financed and marketed around the world. How does the youth become involved in the sport, and how you can also career in the sport or pursue a career in the sport.
The background of the sport, it is an Irish team sport that consists of 15 players on each side of the field. It's played on a grass pitch. The objective is to score by kicking or punching the ball through a field goal like in the NFL or into a goal like a soccer net, which can be worth 3 points. If you kick the ball through the upper field goal post, it's worth 1 point. This sport started back in 1308 in Ireland.
So the international governing body, it's called the GAA, which stands for Gaelic Athletic Association. It's Ireland's largest sporting organization. It's also helps out with football, handball, rounders, rugby. They also support the women's leagues as well, and it's also celebrated as one of the greatest associations in the world. So it's widely known, and a lot of people know this organization a lot.
For the national team, it is governed by the GAA, which is the same as the national and the local. It's just the big development core. Typically, it helps out the national team aspect more than the international due to it being based in Ireland as a country instead of being more international all around. So it's kind of more heavily followed in the area where it was created.
So the local governing body is also the GAA. That also stands for the Gaelic Athletic Association. It kind of runs it all, international and nationally, like Nick said. And at this annual meeting, motions calling for policy, rule changes, many of which like materialize club levels, and they debate and vote upon by delegates representing all counties, other administrative units, and they determine whether the proposals are entered to the official guide or not. So.
For the professional and amateur leagues, National Hurling League is an annual inter-county hurling competition featuring teams from Ireland and England. It was founded in 1925 by the Gaelic Athletic Association, so the GAA. It operates on a system of promotions and regulations within the league systems. The league has 35 teams divided into 6 different divisions with either 5 or 6 teams in each one. Promotion and regulation between the divisions is a central feature of the league.
So the funding, it's not really, it's kind of high, I'd say. It's at 3.5 million pounds revenues is for the association, which is about 83% distributed to counties, clubs, and for countries, clubs, schools, and all this for the sport. Just shy of 14 million pounds went to the county boards and like different guides. And GAA director, finance, and current director general said in 2016, when responding to queries around Dublin's 1.46 million allocations from the Games Development Fund. So the funding, it's not really, it's kind of high, I'd say. It's at 3.5 million pounds revenues is for the association, which is about 83% distributed to counties, clubs, and for countries, clubs, schools, and all this for the sport. Just shy of 14 million pounds went to the county boards and like different guides. And GAA director, finance, and current director general said in 2016, when responding to queries around Dublin's 1.46 million allocations from the Games Development Fund.
So for hurling's marketing, they currently have had an aggressive market push to introduce hurling to a broader spectrum of people via like social media and other markets based off of the news in Ireland and other places around the world. It's kind of had a push, kind of like lacrosse, where they've had a couple new leagues begin, and they're trying to introduce the game to more international teams and get it growing in other places. Christy Cooney, the GAA president for hurling, stated that these new advertisements bring the promotion of our championship competitions to another level and feature 2 of the GAA's most recognizable names in Kieran Donaghy and Henry Seflin.
So the big cultural significance, hurling was recorded as far as back as 1772 when it was brought by the Irish soldiers to the British Army. There was even an earlier form of ice hurling played on Collect Pond, where Chinatown is now located. So it's pretty interesting. It's been around a long time. And An interesting fact that I found in ancient Irish texts on handwritten manuscripts produced in Irish monasteries dating back from the 7th century to the 17th century. There's a link to a world that is immemorially old. These manuscripts, which record through the stories and legends the playing of this game, which is, they called it the stick and ball game, which is now understood as hurling.
To introduce hurling, it's a vital sport to the Irish history, and the Gaelic ideology makes all of the youth born into hurling. It's almost like a pastime, where if your dad plays, you play. It's a generational pass down. The audience is those who have been involved in the sport for a long time and those who are interested in it. They're pushing to introduce it to more people, but they stick to the roots and want the people who are most interested to stay the most interested.
So kind of like the youth hurling opportunities. There's a youth GAA, so mainly kids start around ages 5 through 8, and the possibility of becoming like a pro drives the kids to perform well and pursue a career and train and everything. And the growth of the sport has increased over the 20 years with kids of all ages in different countries now trying it out. And it's just the youth wants to make it a career, and you have former family members who play this game. They want to get out there and they want to carry on the tradition and just make their family proud and live up to what they want it to do for their lives.
Reflections on hurling as a fast developing sport, kind of equivalent to lacrosse in the US. It's being introduced more socially and branching out and starting to introduce to the youth more frequently. So I think as a person who would want to become invested in it, if I was to reflect on that, I would want to start a youth program or club to travel around with and teach the youth how to become better players in order to help them reach that next level in their playing ability. This would also be pretty profitable because people are probably looking for developmental teaching